Well guys, it's been so long since I've made new content that someone got a new car. Alright, so basically this is faded plastic right here, and we've got a metal bumper guard right here, so we're just going to use the heat gun to remove the adhesive and improve this with the mod. So using the heat gun we were able to peel off the old trunk liner, so now we're just cleaning off the dirt that got underneath it and peeling off the old tape before we put the new one on. So we used some Goo Gone and got all of the adhesive off of it. So we're just cleaning off that surface before we install the metal panel right there. So we put on the adhesive promoter and waited 5 minutes, and also put on some strips of frog tape so we could center it. So now Weston's gonna peel off the tape over the stickers. We could put this on and finally take it out for a spin. So with their work finished, you can get a good look around the car. It's definitely not stock, even though that's the way Weston at least purchased it. So you can tell it's been a while since I've done some coverage. It has a bash bar, tow hooks, mud flaps, roof rack. Subie rumble. So this is your introduction to the replacement for Weston's Range Rover, the Crosstrek.
I mean, it does enough to put a smile on your face.
Exactly. See, that's the thing. There's a lot of input that people have on Crosstreks, but this is the daily.
Yeah.
And the reliability versus the Range Rover is a big part of the decision.
Yes.
You have to own a vape to be able to buy one of these.
Yeah.
So I think you've had this for 5 months now?
Yeah, around there. Sold the Range Rover because the wheel bearing went out, and replacing the wheel bearing was an entirely way too difficult of an issue, because with the thing having 485,000 miles on it, all the bolts were seized together, everything was seized on, and it took 4 days to replace a wheel bearing. But then the axle was messed up, and it broke my jack stands while doing it, so it also fell on the brakes on the rear end and shattered the brake shroud, which I had to try to straighten, and the air suspension was slowly losing air. And so I was at the point of, let's just sell this. And so I sold it to a guy, and I told him, he asked me about what that grinding noise was and the clicking noise, because it instantly grenaded the wheel bearing when I first replaced it, because the axle nut wouldn't go on all the way, because the axle was messed up. So the wheel could have flown off at any time. But I told him, it just needs an alignment. I think that's everything it needed, because it did need an alignment. So I just said, I only think it needs an alignment. And yet here it is going, and all he cared about was, V8 Range Rover, it's really nice, and it sounds sounds cool. And it was fast, and he owned it for probably a week, and he blew the motor, because when he test drove it, he drove the piss out of it, so I just assumed that's how he drove it everywhere, and yeah, he ruined it.
So that's a lesson, kids. When you get a Range Rover, don't flex it to your friends, because then it's just gonna blow up.
It was advertised for $11,500. I paid $8,000 for it.
Yeah.
And I had 97,000 miles on it when I got it. Now it has 98,000. And I did all the stuff to it. Got the roof rack, front and rear strut bars, off-road stuff done to it. I have a plate on the diff to protect my diff if I ever decide I want to go rock clawing. And I put little add-on features in the car, having aluminum knobs and whatnot, and added this gauge by the steering wheel, because these cars, they only have idiot lights, which I do not like. And then I put little Subaru logos in all the cup holders throughout the whole car, even in the doors, and plasti dipped all the silver on the inside because it looked awful. Drilled in my buttons that you can't see, but they're over on the driver's side, because I put pod lights, and I put a light bar, a 21-inch light bar in the grill, so it's threaded in, because I used thread inserts and actually put it in the bumper support, so it's definitely not going anywhere. Put on a bumper bar made by Rally Innovations, and they mailed me that out, and I put it all together. I did it on a weekend. It took me a couple hours. Was not easy because I snapped one of the top bolts off because it was kind of crusty, and the head broke off of it, so that was fun. Ruined a socket doing that. Put a STI exhaust on here because turns out that most of the WRX and Impreza parts from 2010 to 2017, I believe, all the parts match up overall, like mechanical wise and interior, like all the trim pieces are the same. So that's convenient. I can use parts from everything. I also put the STI front and rear sway bars on. I got that for better handling, which I don't really notice a big difference because I'm not really driving the piss out of this car. I just kind of drive it as a daily driver. Put the BF Goodrich all-terrains on the stock wheels, which will be replaced soon, and a 2-inch lift will be put on. Got a Pickle Rick sticker on the back because, you know, Rick and Morty all day.
So you got a basic plan for the overall goal of the build and future mods?
Just build it to off-road look, and pretty much until I get tired of building it. Pretty much I'll keep building it until it ends up becoming more stuff's breaking than I actually am adding.
So definitely we could stay tuned for an off-road video at some point.
Yes.
Alright, this won't be a pavement princess, folks. Well everyone, we installed a pretty simple mod and gave you an update on one of our favorite members of the channel. So I hope you enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching, and peace out.